Man, I'm cold. Just thinking about Lambeau Field right now in December. Brady Quinn joining us here on CBS Sports HQ to preview the Monday Night Football matchup with the Rams and the Packers. Baker making his first official start for the Rams. I feel like I watched the first half of that win against the Raiders, went to bed, missed this 98-yard touchdown pass that he had to win the game. So clearly he's got it on him, maybe studying the playbook there on the plane. He's been there for about a week and a half. They're on the cusp of playoff elimination. So what can we expect to see from Baker this time around?
The interesting thing is if you go back and look at that game, it was awkward to see him not start the game, right?
Yeah.
Walford started first series, 3 plays, and then Baker Mayfield's inserted. So you're not really sure what was going on with that. That being said, Baker did a great job for not having been there for maybe more than 48 hours at that point in time in preparation for that game. I think early on you saw them try to run the football, take some play action shots, not really do too much. A lot of 7-man protections, protect him up, make it simple on him, and really take some of the pressure off his shoulders. But in the 2-minute drive at the end of the game, you really couldn't do that because if you wanted to have a chance of winning the game, you had to put it on his shoulders, and that's where his natural instincts came out. I don't think we're going to see quite as much of that tonight. I still think you're going to want to see Sean McVay establish the ground game, utilize some of the play-action pass. You go back to Cleveland when Baker Mayfield had his best years. That was really what they based everything off of. The outside zone running scheme that Kevin Stefanski likes to run, same thing with Sean McVay. And they're going to do the same thing here, try to utilize some of the play-action pass, deeper shots downfield. Otherwise, it'll be screens, get the ball out of his hand quick. That's going to be the game plan. I think if they want to have success, it really comes down to whether or not they can match up front. And that's where it's going to be a decisive mismatch for the Packers. They've got a much better pass rush. The Rams' offensive line really struggled. There's a few holding calls they got away with in that unbelievable comeback against the Raiders that I'm sure the Raiders are still complaining about.
All right, let's talk about the Packers. They're 5-8. It's kind of crazy to say a 5-8 team is, still in the race there. The NFC playoffs, they're the 10th seed. What do you think we can see from Aaron Rodgers? Are we going to see vintage Aaron Rodgers, or is it going to kind of be the struggles that we've seen throughout the season?
I think it's going to be more vintage Aaron Rodgers. You're starting to see them round into form, and really Christian Watson, the rookie wide receiver they drafted to replace Devontae Adams. He's not there anymore, but Watson's looking to be that explosive wide receiver that gives them that shot down the field. That, I think, a more balanced rushing attack. You're seeing Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon becoming more involved with that group. And then you mix in some of the veteran players. Obviously, Allen Lazard, a wide receiver as well. Robert Tonyan, who's played a factor at the tight end spot. It's kind of those 5 playmakers they distribute the ball to. But look, they're not out of it yet. They definitely need to win out. You can make the case that really the playoffs start tonight for the Green Bay Packers. And if you go back to the last time they won a Super Bowl, that was exactly how they got into the playoffs. They had to win, I believe, their final 3 or 4 games to finish the season to get in, and they won it as a wild card team. So I'm not saying history is going to repeat itself, but it is Aaron Rodgers. It is a talented roster when they're playing up to their best ability. So you never count them out.
Yeah, and you mentioned AJ Dillon getting into the mix there. So let's talk about the betting and some good bets that we want to make. And you like AJ Dillon for an anytime scorer in this game?
Yeah, I think the easy money is going to be on Aaron Jones. Not as quite as much value there, but the way they utilize him both running the football and catching the football to the backfield, he'd be a big piece for it. But if you want plus odds here, look a little bit deeper into AJ Dillon. I talked about that balanced rushing attack. He's getting more work. He's getting more opportunities. Past couple games, he's got 3 touchdowns in the season. 2 of them have come those last 2 games. So I do think in short yardage situations, especially on the goal line, you're going to see AJ Dillon be that more powerful back to punch the football in.
Okay, we're talking about player props. What is your top player prop for the Rams, Brady?
Kyron Williams, Notre Dame alum, obviously one of my guys. They've been utilizing him more and more alongside Cam Akers since they moved on from Darrell Henderson. So when you're looking at that backfield, his over-under rushing yards is only 18.5 yards. He's done that, I think 4 times this season so far. So since he's come back and been part of that rushing attack, it's not asking for much. They obviously like him to be in there on 3rd downs too, so you're looking at the potential for a big gain on a draw or a simple running inside zone running play, something like that too. So the over of Kyron Williams' rush yards at 18.5 yards to me has a lot of value.
Okay, now we're talking about the top player prop for the Packers. What do you got?
I've got the over of Aaron Rodgers' touchdown passes. I mean, if you look at the last 4 games, he's thrown 8 touchdown passes in that span. Really hasn't been held without a touchdown pass since the beginning of the season. So he's always one that when they get down there, the play action pass in particular, 2 guys like Robert Tonyan or bigger receivers like an Allen Lazard are things you have to look forward to. And it's Aaron Rodgers at home. I mean, come on. He's going to throw at least 2 touchdown passes in this one, and especially the way the Rams have struggled at times defensively. There's no Aaron Donald in this game. You don't have to worry about that either.
Okay, we know that the Packers are favored by -7.5. The over is 39 and a hook. What is your best play here? Where should we put our money?
Yeah, I actually like the over-under better than I do the spread here. So I would bet the over. I think you'll see a decent amount of scoring, obviously, from the Packers. I think the Rams will have their moments, too, in scoring just enough, especially if they can run the football. That's been the Achilles heel for the Green Bay Packers defense this entire season. And you know Sean McVay wants to help out Baker Mayfield, establish the running game, and then utilize the play-action pass, the boots off of that. So that's going to be part of, I think, how the Rams get in the end zone. But I got the Packers winning this one. I think they hit the over on the over-under. I'll go and lay the 7.5, even though I don't feel great about the hook. You could have got it earlier this week at 7, maybe even 6.5. But I'll lay the 7.5 points here. Again, betting on Rodgers with what we've seen lately from this offense, stepping up at home, getting a win.
And it's not supposed to snow, right? I think it's just going to be cold. I don't know. I guess it's Lambeau. It could...
The snow's overblown as far as the impact on the game.
Yeah.
Unless you're talking about Buffalo and teams are throwing snowballs at you. You're more worried about the wind and those frigid temperatures.
Literally, nothing I thought I would ever see is fans throwing snowballs on the field there. Brady Quinn previewing the Packers-Rams on Monday Night Football. Kick is set for 8:15 p.m. Eastern. And you can join the Sportsline crew for their live betting hour. All the fun there kicks off at 8 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you join our Sportsline crew, and they will try to make you some money.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.